What's up, Buck fans? It is at 102.9, the Aftermath Game Broad Street South Radio. Let's get ready to talk Bucs ball versus the punk ass Saints. Let's do it. What it do, Buck fans? Happy Saturday. You are watching the Aftermath on 102.9, the Game Broad Street South Radio. It's your boy, AJ Turnup, and we got my man, Coach Slick, the British guy who's always flying on standby. And as you see, my man got the smooth criminal hat on. How you doing?
I'm tipping the hat to you. I'm good, man. We just had our the Steelers end of season party, so that was coming from that and just having a bit of fun. We had our comedy awards in, so we had a 2-for-1 award, which was when our leading interception artist decided to snag a ball, run it back, drop the ball, pick it back up, and then had the audacity to come to the coaching staff and goes, "That counts for 2, right?" We went, "No, sit the fuck down." We had the
what was your record?
Oh no, we lost every single fucking game. It was not good.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, on the flip side, we had 10 picks. I think we play 10 games, 10 picks, so we average a pick a game. 6 forced fumble recoveries, and then about 18 sacks throughout the season. So defense was dominant. We just didn't finish up. There's shit to fall out, and obviously I don't want to blame people. So we're starting a new season, and this is the season where it counts. So this is the season where we got to come the fuck back up and make some noise straight away. So.
Well, first off, again, congratulations for getting through the season. That's the most important thing. You guys got through it. And if you don't know, Coach Slick is good. He does his damn thing as a coach, especially on the defensive side. If you need some tips, reach out to the man. He can give you a few pointers. You want some offense? I'm your man right here. I can do a little bit of defense. The only thing that I'm going to tell you about, I am this. This is what I do.
No cushion.
I don't fuck with this. But anything else, go to Slick. He knows it. But let's just talk about why we're here today, guys. First of all, we play the punk ass Saints. I'm sorry, the New Orleans Taints. I'm at the New Orleans Saints tomorrow. We play that punk ass team tomorrow, but it is an important game because this can help us get a lead in the NFC South division.
Big game.
And we run it, and then we go into the bye week at 3-1. The Bucs do that.
Winning football.
We're in football, and you done shocked 90% of the media. Remember, Bucs fans. The media literally thought this Bucs team would start at least 0-4 or 1-3. So we're already 50% over the mark.
So I mean, there was King turned around and said they would win 2 games whole season. We've got literally 3/4 of the season to go, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Exactly. Oh, Ben, I love it. He said AJ has a no man pillow. Yes, I really do. When I see cushion cover from Bowles, no, but for
no, man,
it's nah, man. That's my shit. Nah, man, nah. But yes, guys, this is an important game just because we want the Bucs to go in the right direction. And you go into the bye week 3-1. The guys who are a little dinked up, they get 2 weeks to rest. And now
you fucking need it right now.
Yes, you go into it with momentum because, guys, it doesn't get easy for us, but it's not hard. But we have a lot of serious competition after the bye week. You got Detroit in the throwback game, which I already told y'all the Bucs better ball the fuck out. But let's talk.
I don't know why we picked that game as the game to go back to the. I think the game we should have gone back to Creamsicle was probably the Bears, in my opinion.
Hey, it is what it is.
I get it, but if you're the scheduling, if you're the people going, well, we'll put this game here and we'll put that game. I'm sure there was something that the NFL did on that game. Like they might have had their fucking cancer thing that they do, and there's so many weeks dedicated to certain different things, so it might have clashed. But I know that we played against teams, and we saw teams playing in changeover kits. So I'm not. I just think sometimes, like, if you try to cement the legacy of Creamsicle, probably not go with one of the harder teams in your schedule.
Hey, it can go either way.
I get you, and I'm for it, but it's like there's a lot of losing attached to that color.
Yes.
So it would, like, you go with the Bears, you got a very high percentage chance of winning that game. You set everything back up. You set the media circus going.
Yes.
And then you can, like, okay, now we're going to cherry pick games and stuff a bit more, and we're going to go with a bit more of a challenge. But hey, you know what they say about the NFL. Every dog can have his day, and that dog is always barking. We all say any given Sunday. So we know all that shtick does happen because we've seen it. We've been that team that snagged the win. We've been that team that gave up the win. We know all sides of it. We now go against a team that we don't particularly like. I do think it's very cute that I'm trying to remember that gentleman's name. Cameron Jordan has said, "Oh, there's a rivalry in Tampa Bay." Yeah, the team that swept you, son. The team that swept you. Yeah. Again, don't get me wrong. Your team has had your way with us, but we took you out in the playoffs. We won a Super Bowl, and then after that, you beat us again. Fair enough. But then you gave up 2 games yourself, including yourself. You were there, so in the grand scheme of things, you've lost games against us too. So let's not pretend that you're special right now, because you're not. No one in the NFC South right now is the leader realistically, because everyone's on the same record, and there's an argument can be made if you're media for any of them, right? Well, maybe not. According to the book, so we're going to wear green. No. It's more the case of, like, why pick the hardest? Why pick a really difficult game to win when you could have picked the Bears? And this is all about marketing. Yeah, I'm thinking of the marketing campaign here. I generally think this is I had this down as one of my 50-50 games. Same as the Eagles, because we're going to lose games. It's a fact. Like, if anyone thinks we're going to go 16-1. It's not going to happen, right? We're going to lose games down the line, and there are going to be some trap games where we shouldn't have lost to people, and there's going to be games where we should have there's going to be games that we thought we probably would have lost that we did end up winning.
Facts. Now, I do want to say this, and you and Ben, but Slick, I do think this: the media and the marketing is perfect, because this is why I say that narratives are important in the NFL. The Bucs losing the Creamsicles, then the media can say, "See, this is why the Bucs shouldn't have won. They didn't win because the old losing era stench comes from the Creamsicles." Now, but if the Bucs win, then they can come up with their own bullshit stories and say, "Wow, did Baker Mayfield change the narrative for the Creamsicle? Is it now a factor, a formula of winning?" Because that's why I say the media is going to win regardless. They're going to win either way. They can go, okay, the Creamsicles, they were playing like they used to be in the 70s.
I just know what Bucs fans fickle for. Like, we lose in that, it's going to be like, get rid of that. We stink in it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
The funny thing is, the last time we played in those Creamsicles, we won. And we beat Aaron Rodgers with Josh Freeman. So it can change. It's just how the Bucs play. Now, if the Bucs play a hard-fought game, then it'll go down as a typical old-fashioned NFC Central game. I think the dude wants to come in and talk his piece, because we out here venting, but we gonna talk our shit about this Saints game. So dude is coming in a second, so we know. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Here he is.
Gentlemen. Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? About the Creamsicles, I'm pretty sure because they're playing their old division this year, the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, that's why we're seeing the Creamsicle game against one like Detroit. And as far as the Creamsicle, because I'm about to talk some trash to the Saints fans. Hey, Saints fans, How long were you a franchise before you got to a conference championship game? Wasn't it like 20 years? Because
Yes.
it was 3 for the Buccaneers.
That's right, 79.
Okay. Hey, Saints fans, douche Rev or whatever, and all you guys that have like CJ Fleur de Lis in your name, like your whole identity is Saints football. Now realize the majority of the country sees that and laughs at you, because if you're going to make your whole life about a football team, I don't think the Saints are it. Hell, even one of their biggest fans, John O'Barnes, moved out of New Orleans and went to Texas. So, but real quick, because I like to do a little number check here. Whew, all right. Saints, you've got us in the head-to-head regular season record. You do. Congratulations. Put that banner up in the dome. Regular season champions. But, Saints, you started playing football an entire decade before the Buccaneers. And yet, the Bucs have more Super Bowl rings, division championships, conference championships, Hall of Famers, and you call us a poverty franchise? Well, fun fact, the Buccaneers franchise is worth $250 million more than the Saints is. So if we're poverty, what does that make you?
So the Saints existed in 1966, 56 years ago, right?
That's right.
Okay.
It's been a
Their
minute.
first division championship was in 1991.
81?
1991.
Damn.
Their first playoff appearance. Anyone want to have a stab?
91.
94.
Well, if they won a division championship in 91, they went to the playoffs, dude.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, 91. 91.
It's going to be either before that or on that date. 1984.
Yeah, I said 91.
That means they've been around for almost 30 years before they knew what the playoffs looked like. 30 years. There are buildings older than 30 years that have more use.
Like your stadium.
My cock is over 30 years old, and it's in more playoff action.
Damn.
He's talking about his rooster. He has a rooster at his house. That's what he's talking about, the rooster.
Even crazy, it's just hit me in the head. And AJ can probably attest to this as well, because I know AJ's similar age to me. I was born before the New Orleans Saints won a playoff game.
Wait, what? First of all, can we clarify what hit you in the head?
Played in a playoff game, appeared in a playoff game. I was born in 1985, so I existed for 2 years before they even went to the playoffs. They're old as my mom. They're 1966. My mom was born in 66.
Hey, the 40-year-old virgin got more action in his first 30 years than the Saints did.
I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, it's really embarrassing. And I'm going to go have a little snoop to see if they won it, because because this will be funny, right?
Right.
Because this will be funny. Okay. It was against Minnesota. It was in the Louisiana Superdome. Does anyone want to guess the score?
I know they lost. They had to have lost.
44-10.
Damn.
Yeah. So let's see how long it took them to win a playoff game. Mind, we already won our playoff game in 1979. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, sir. So 1990, their second playoff appearance. And it ended in... Anyone want to take a wild stab at this? It was versus the Chicago Bears.
And what year was that?
1990.
Oh, that means it was the Chicago Bears, and most likely Walter Payton. So, loss, hold it, Saints fan.
16-6. So
Saints
they came
fan.
and kicked 2 field goals, and they fucked off.
Tomorrow, hey, Saints fan, you could roll the Buccaneers 56-0 tomorrow, okay? And we still have twice the rings, more division champs, more conference champs. I'm going to keep saying this until you guys get it in your thick head. More Hall of Famers. So, but you guys want to stake your whole reputation and all this whatever talk on regular season record. Oh, okay. That's great. Real quick, shout out to my cousin Joe there in the comment section, showing support and love for the community here at Bucs Report.
How you doing?
You're getting a how you doing from the DC area, as well as Mr. Slick up here in the upper right-hand corner, live from the United Kingdom. And you know what else is cool about the United Kingdom? They don't have a bunch of dumbass Saints fans in the United Kingdom, okay? Here's the thing.
We got them. My
Saints,
head coach is a fucking Saints fan.
Why?
Saints fans.
Exactly.
Saints fan. Do you realize when you go on every post on social media that has to do with the Buccaneers and talk about how the Buccaneers aren't even our rivals? Dude, who are you trying to convince? Because it seems like you're trying to convince yourselves. Because we don't say anything. Do you know who our rivals are? Every freaking team that lines up across the line of scrimmage from us. Do you know who our division rival is? Well, you're the closest because you're the only one in the division that has an actual ring besides us. And that's a shot at you, Atlanta, 28-3. And you, Panther fan, Cam Newton, you better dive on a fumble. And I got it for days for you, Saints, because here's the thing. If I had a 10-year head start at anything, I would be able to get more than someone who started 10 years after me. Think about this. If I had a 10-year start on knocking girls back in high school, imagine how much more I would have knocked. If I had a 10-year head start on making money, imagine how much more money I would have. But yet here you are holding less than we have as a team. You say poverty franchise. Dude, first of all, I would think someone from New Orleans was an expert on poverty, but apparently not. So without getting too political too political because we don't do that on the show, I'm going to start this thing. I want to build a wall around the entire state of Louisiana. Okay? Get out until you can act right. Here's the thing. You got a ring. Pound your chest. Raise the banner. Be proud. But when you're taking shots up at a team that has more accomplishments in literally every category that matters besides regular season, and you think when you go to sleep at night that you owned a Bucs fan on Twitter or social media with your dumbass comments of like, we don't even acknowledge you as a rivalry. Yeah, you can't because you're not equal. Okay? You're just not equal. And here's another thing. You're playing in a stadium that's older than most of these people on Twitter talking smack. It's grandpappies. Okay?
Yeah.
The Superdome is literally a shithole. It is. Okay? You can spin it how you want. You couldn't even keep the electricity on for a Super Bowl, homie. Okay? So much love and respect to the passion. I understand the passion, but when you're just going to come in the comment section and say regular season record, you know what you sound like? You sound like retard Tommy down the street screaming at the traffic sign because it hasn't turned green yet. It's a sign it doesn't turn. So Saints fans, do your best.
Really good impression of Blue Hopes.
Do your best to catch up to us, and then you can be our rivals.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. The Saints is the chick that she thinks she's fine, or no, she's the chick that is kind of fine, but she's always the bridesmaid instead of being the one that's picked. You've been to 5 weddings, but they're your friends.
AJ, I could top it on that one. She's that fine ass chick that's got a really big mouth that everyone's like, she's nice, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
You give her that side. You're like, she's so like you see her, you look at her and she looks good. Her body's popping and everything, and she's mouthing all the time. Like, God, I wish she's bitch.
Yep, that is the type where you go. She would have had a chance if she didn't talk so much.
Anyway, speaking about New Orleans Saints rivals, and we're gonna get there eventually. It is 1991, so the year that they win their first divisional crown. They play against Atlanta. What do you think happened?
They lost.
We could turn this into. I think this could be a regular season game. We could turn into. They lost. They lost 27-20 against the Atlanta Falcons, and we're not done yet because we're going to 1992. Here we go. 1992 against the Philadelphia Eagles, and what did they do?
Lose.
They shit the bed, 36-20. So when are we going to see this, like, really rambunctious, tough, proud powerful franchise emerge. We are now in 2000, my sir. 2000. Tom Brady is now playing football. Keep this in mind. New Orleans plays against St. Louis. What do you think happened?
Oh, they got their ass whooped. It's the
They
Rams.
actually won 31-28 against St. Louis.
Oh.
They lose the subsequent game after that, so it took them from 66 to 76 to 86 to 96. So we're 30 years in the making.
Yeah.
4 years on top of that, 34 years to win a playoff game.
So it took them Lyndon B. Johnson, who was our president in that time, I think, to basically Bush, the second, to fucking win. Good God. They went through man. And look, think about this. They went through the recessions. They went through the Jordan era, the Michael Jackson era, where he changed his color a few times. It's like you went through so much shit to be relevant, and you have the nerve to talk about the Bucs organization. Mind you, again, it only took 3 years for the Bucs to be relevant, and the Bucs had a historical moment. It wasn't that the Bucs just scraped into the playoffs. The Bucs played their hearts out and lost to the Rams, and that wasn't even. We didn't get blown out. That was a good game. So yes, the Saints. It's people. You know why? Because they're hanging. It's because social media and the narrative loves to really soak up the first Super Bowl because they had a lot of things going their way.
You look at what they've done lately in the sense of like what they've done in the last. Once Sean Payton turned up, right? Because that's basically when it changed. It changed once Sean Payton turned up.
It did.
And he got greatness out of it. And well, we say greatness. He managed one Super Bowl with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Exactly.
So it's not that special. And look, he now has his hands on a 2-time appearance quarterback, one winner, one time a loser. And let's face it, we all know that Pete Carroll only had to hand that ball off, and this boy would have been a 2-time winner.
Russell Wilson.
You can't do nothing with him. Do nothing with him. So is Sean Payton a fraud? That is the question.
Well, it's like this. I tell you, there's two types of coaches, and you know this, Slick. There's coaches who can win through building, and then there's a coach who needs to have it stacked to make it happen.
Yep.
What if Sean Payton was that? What if Sean Payton is nothing more than just a older, fatter, sluggish John Gruden? Remember, we love Gruden, and as Buck fans, we can attest to this. When Gruden came in, it was set. The pieces were there. All he needed to do was manage it. For Sean Payton, you had a set with Drew Brees, and they got a little piece together. But it's not like you were this big guru. And that's good, Slick, because a lot of coaches from the NFC South have done that. Only one who's actually been able to replicate it, but the only reason was he still had a set team was John Fox. Remember when Fox went to the Broncos? It was stacked already with the defense, and then you brought Peyton Manning there. So everything was in motion. But yes,
you could argue they were the original blueprint for what the Buccaneers did later on down the line, right?
There you go. Exactly.
But maybe their talent on offense wasn't quite as sublime as what we had. But I think they were a lot more emerging talent rather than like there was huge potential, whereas the Buccaneers was proven talent. You had two guys coming off 1,000-yard seasons. Running back was still a problem, and it still probably will plague us for probably forever. And it's not a problem I stress too much about because I don't think it really matters in today's NFL as long as you have a coherent run game.
Yes.
It's all about the pass game, and so I'm hoping we're getting to this game now. Yes. I'm hoping that we do. I want Canales to get to a point where he goes, all right, he needs to have a set point in his head where he goes, we need to do something different.
Yes.
Because everyone was like, the broadcast was going, oh, how he's kept his balance. I don't give a fuck about his balance. Do you know what the balance I want to see is the balance on the fucking score sheet.
Yes.
I want to see us either close to it or unbalanced on our side because we've tipped the scales. I don't care that he's ran the ball 15 times and he passed the ball 18 times. That means nothing to me. I'd rather, if it meant that we got more and our pass game was more successful, I'd rather see an extra 5 passing attempts. because those 5 passing attempts may have kept drives alive, which gave you more attempts. So sometimes I think, and me and you have attested to this many a times, where if you set up the passing game, eventually they have to respect it, because nobody wants to have the ball thrown on them. Eventually their defense is going to start reacting to the pass. Now you can bring your run game, you can sprinkle that run game, and you're probably going to get more success out of it. It's finding balance. Like, it feels like, here's the best way for me to describe it. He's finding balance to allow the run to exist instead of passing the ball to force them to honor it, and then you can put in that run game, because they're like, these motherfuckers are passing. We've got to stop selling out for this run game. We've got to take that guy out of the box. We've got to take this away. And also, I would say this is one thing that your predecessor really struggled with. Don't make obvious passing downs. Use the same formation and run passes out of it, and run do your running game through it. Because once you have an obvious running set, teams will click onto it. And if I don't have to read, you've done half my job for me.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, don't be afraid to mix it up. Now, I did see his conference where he held himself accountable for that safety, which he should. But now, the dude said it before. That won't mean shit unless you go and change it in this game.
Mm-hmm.
You just said it. Don't make it obvious. Switch it up. You still have an advantage of defensive people are not going to know what the hell you're exactly about yet. So, as you said, if there's a running formation, make it confusing. Switch it to where Palmer is in and Godwin is in, or whoever. Don't make it go, okay, we know if Evans and Godwin's in, they're running the ball in this I formation. Don't make it be that way. Make them understand and honor, oh, we still don't know what they're doing. So Canales he has to adjust. And if there's a game where Baker, you're gonna have to throw this ball 40 times, so be it. As you said, if it's a fucking win, I don't care. But if there's a game where, okay,
he's got the talent around him, though. That's the thing. It's not like he's thrown to scrubs or anyone. He's thrown to a talented receiving core. And we haven't seen anything of Chris Godwin yet. Yes. He's completely under the radar right now. Like, there are much worse number 2 wide receivers in the league than him. Again, a snootful more yards. And I know that we're trying to play this keep everything balanced game, and I get it. It works in your favor down the line. Sometimes you just have to go, right, don't abandon the run. I say shelve it. Just put it to the side for a little bit and come back to it. Yeah. You know when you're doing a puzzle, you're playing a video game. We all played a video game, especially ones that aren't multiplayer, because obviously you can't just put a multiplayer game down. But you're playing a video game and you're struggling on a level, yeah? I can't get past this fucking level. And someone always says to you, just pause it and come back to it. And obviously your mind is like, no, I want to feel it. I want to finish it. Sometimes turning the fucking console off, walking away, having a drink, having a chill, having a chat. You turn it back on and you just do the level like that. And you're like, how the fuck did I do that? Because you're relaxed, you're chilled, everything's better. I'm not saying that's going to happen with the run game, but what I'm saying is you can come back to it because you've done other things.
Yes. Now we do have to address that. Now that's something that Canales and the coaching staff is going to have to truly be honest and evaluate. We can't go into feelings. If you have a guy who can't implement what you're looking for, then you got to look. So that means if Rashad White cannot run the rock north and south like that without dancing, let's see what Tucker has. Let's see whoever else is in the backfield. We can establish that and say, okay, Rashad, we'll use you more in the passing game. Just because somebody knows something doesn't mean you can stop it. How many times so far this season we've seen plays where they go to Mike Evans and you go, you can't stop it. The Bucs have got to go balls to the wall. We cannot have what we had.
I don't think you can play careful in this league, because you can do it against the Bears. You can probably do it against a couple of other teams that we're going to play, like
the Texans.
That being said, the Texans can throw the ball, but yes, the Texans defensively, and Carolina, yes. But realistically, that's 3 games. Realistically, that you can say you can do that to. There are times where you're just going to have to go, right, I'm out of my comfort zone. Let's see what we got in Baker, because this is the eyeball test. What happens if you played it? Let's say, for the sake of argument, the Buccaneers go They scrape an 8-9 record and somehow get back into the playoffs. And Baker is 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. They're not wow you stats, because they're not. They're not wow you stats, but they're also not bad. And it's like you may end up paying like the Seattle Seahawks, and I mean his stats were better, but you could end up paying someone like a Daniel Jones, who did that kind of thing. That was his kind of shtick, wasn't it? He got less touchdowns he scored less touchdowns than than games he played in, pretty much, and he didn't do much with the yardage, but he was surrounded by a good cast and he had a good defense behind him. And then you go and pay him the money. Eventually, you need to see what that nut can do. You need to see if it can crack, if it will crack under pressure, if it deals with this. You need to see that. You can wrap them up in cotton wool for so long. Eventually, you need to see what they can do.
Exactly. You have to just take the gloves off. And you've said this before. You have to have fun. You have to make it happen. Look,
I think he'd relish it, to be honest.
Yes, relish it. And Baker, when these guys can have fun and they're relaxed and they're doing what they do best and they're playing to the best of their abilities, that takes all the doubt away. You don't want your team coming in intimidated, because if they come in intimidated, that's where someone will drop passes. That's where someone will miss the wrong route. That's where running backs will hesitate. You come in there with the kiss my ass, I don't care who you are, and I don't give a shit what the media says. We're going to smack you right in the mouth. Oh, you're supposed to be this good Marshawn covering kind of guy? Baker, if I'm going to Evans, I'm throwing that shit in the air if it's one-on-one. Catch that motherfucking ball over his ass. And if he doesn't catch it, make sure you get an interference call. So you do that, because I told people this is not the same Brady era team where the risk it and biscuit went out the window when they played the Saints. Because you're right, they played careful. You cannot play careful. You go all out on this team like they go all out on you. If you think about it, that's what happened with the Eagles. They didn't have to go all out. They just played what we gave them. Mm-hmm. You don't want a team to beat you slowly. Don't let them drain the clock, make your defense tired, and then your offense comes out with no rhythm. We cannot do that against this Saints defense, because they do have a good defense.
Yes, they do.
They have a good defense. So I'm not knocking them. Demario Davis is a stud. He's a damn stud. One of the top 10 linebackers of the NFL today. He's a beast. You still have Marshawn Lattimore, even though he gets on my damn nerves. He is still a solid.
He's still a very, very good.
He's a very solid corner.
And they've been really good on that side.
Exactly. So
they're daring you to run the ball, because they're like, you're not going to believe that you can throw the ball against us.
Right.
So we're just going to let you. Right. We're gonna just stop that, and you're not going to do anything because you're going to be too scared to go against it. And this is where you go, hang on, we got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and we've got 2 emerging talents. Would be nice to see what they can do, like when we really give them an opportunity to do it. I look at the Buccaneers offense and go, and I put them against other teams and go, right, what are they doing right now? So the Chargers. Do we have a better wide receiver tandem than the Chargers?
Yes.
They throw the ball more than we do. Now, granted, they have a better running back than we do as well. That's a very fair assessment.
Big time.
But there are teams in the NFL that have a lesser skill set around their quarterback and are more daring with the ball.
Facts. Exactly, because they believe. You have to believe in what you can do. Now, I'm giving Canales the benefit of the doubt because this is his first time really having his hand on the wheel and really making it happen. But now you cannot hold shit back. This is a rival in your NFC South division. You have to take it. And this is where Rachaad White, you're going to have that moment where this is the game where you're not going to be doing all that bullshit saying. This is a game where you're going to get a tough 40 yards. Not an easy 40 yards, tough. But you know what? This is going to be worth it.
Good.
Like you said, if you get those good 40 to 50 yards where they have to say, shit, we do have to honor that run. Now the passing game and the rollout can work. But like you said, I'm with you. Get the crossing routes in. It's not just Godwin and Evans. You have a receiver who literally runs on a 4-3 something. Utilize that shit. Make him do undercrossing routes. You got Otten, who we see has hands. Go up the fucking seams with him. They have Demario Davis. That's it. That's their linebacking strength right there. He can't guard everybody. So with that being said, that's why I do think crossing routes would destroy this Saints defense, because if they leave that, they're going to leave the middle of the field open. Has it occurred to you that they always like to try to blow Baker up during the middle to make him roll out? That's why they need Canales has got to design plays, in my opinion, where there's always one person doing a shallow crossing route or under route where he can have a blanket. You do that now, even if he can't get the pass off, at least he can run, because somebody is gonna play off. I do think that in this game, the Saints are gonna play more man coverage and more press, because they, like you said, they want to see what Baker has. But I do truly think the Saints are going into this game thinking that this is going to be like the Brady era, where we're scared and where we're going to play careful. Canales, you have got to come out there and call shit that you would say, some people would say, that's ridiculous. No, it's not. Not today. It won't be ridiculous today. We have Evans. We have Godwin. We have mismatches. And even if Marshawn Lattimore does shut Evans down, let's say he take that one side. Okay, we got Palmer. We have Tompkins. We have weapons where, okay, we're going to make you pay for that. So Evans might have a game. What if Evans has a game where he only gets 2 catches for 40 yards, but Godwin goes off 130 yards plus. Palmer goes off 105 yards, or Otten 70 yards. You have got to make them pay. And you're right. Offensively, the Bucs, the main thing that I want to see is 2 things: adjustment and intensity. You have those 2, and you will beat this team. And you know what, Slick? I think they're going to do it. Baker, he was saying the shit in the conference that he is aware. I think he wants to change the narrative. I know deep down he wants to go, this team had Brady's number the first 2 years. Now, I know they got through them last year. That's cool, but I want to be here to put my stamp, my flag.
It's a stamp game for him. But AJ, bear with me a moment. I've just got to quickly zip off for a second. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna carry it on. So, Buck fans, this is what I'm telling you guys. On offense, the Buccaneers have got to play balls to the wall, and you have to be fierce. Now, this is a message to Rachaad White. As I said before, you have got to run the ball through defenders. At some point, you cannot try to dance and maneuver. That's not your forte. You're not Barry Sanders. You don't have that kind of skill. So give what the defense gives you. Run through the hole sometimes, because when you dance, you're taking away that momentum where if you throw your body and get low, you could fall 3 yards into like a 2nd and 7 instead of always a 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 8 trying to dance. Hell, you never know. You might run through a defender where it knocks you all the way. It knocks you down 8 yards. And now 2nd and 2, now you can put a lot of pressure on the defenses because they don't know what to expect. They might go, okay, damn, are they going to run again, or are they going to try to pass? You can put a lot of stress on the defense when your run game is strong. And that starts with the running back in the run game. You cannot afford to get anything negative, especially if the Saints doesn't load the box. Now, I do think that they will load the box, but if they don't and Canales and them decide to run the ball, Rachaad White, you have got to make them pay. Do you understand me, Rachaad White? Tucker, if you come in, you have got to make them pay. You have got to make this run game. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be effective. It has to be where, okay, when we do run the ball, we're making things happen. And it goes to Canales. If you have to set it up to where the passing will set up the run game, then that is very necessary, guys. That is what we want to see on offense. We just want to see creativity and, most importantly, adjustments. Give me 1 second. One thing that we did not do against the Eagles last game, we didn't play our football. When you go back to the game, you see that Baker was trying to be a hero. One thing we do not want the Bucs and Baker to feel is that he has to be a hero. We want him to play his game like he was against the Vikings and the Bears. So again, Rashad, run that damn ball. Run through people.
Yep.
And that's what I need. We need a 2nd and 6 and a 2nd and 4, not a 2nd and 9. You want to get to the point to where, and I was saying this, like if he falls another 3 yards and it gets the 2nd and 2, now the defense is on their heels. Well, shit, are they going to run again? We don't know what they're going to do. Because now you can set yourself up for a play action or a bootleg crossing route where it's we just going to kill you this way. So this offense has got to be, they cannot play scared. If you do play scared, you're going to play right into the Saints' hands, and all they're going to do is cause 3 and outs. This is, you know how everybody wants to beat the Bucs this way. They've been doing this the past 6-7 years. Okay, your offense isn't going to do shit. So what we're going to do, we're going to bleed you out that way. We're going to get our offense back on because we know Bowles like to play this. And then when he does that, now we're going to just mess you up. And dude is about to come in a second. As you see, he's going to get his spiel on this Bucs and Saints matchup because we all want this. We all want the Bucs to win this game, and they have it. For the first time in a while, the Bucs have the better roster. They have the better roster. I don't give a shit what they say about quarterback. Baker is better than Winston right now. Right now. He would be better than Carr right now. So, and receiving core wise, enough said. I don't give a shit what they say about Olive. He's that guy, but he ain't Evans. And you have Godwin, you have Palmer, you have Otten. We haven't even gotten to the defensive side, and we can speak on that now. But look at your defense. Now we are dealing with a couple of injuries. Vita with the pectoral, but we still have so much depth now with Logan. Gaines is stepping up. The linebacking core. Now, JTS, I gave him a little bit of slack last game because he was playing against a very, very elite offensive line, even though them fuckers were holding a lot. But this team, they don't have elite linemen. They have very good linemen.
And a fair few of them are out as well. I mean, you look at the injury list. I think they got a couple out too.
Who else was out?
I think they got their centers out. Hang on, give me a second.
Yeah. Please check, because I was so busy looking at Vita Vea with the pectoral issue. We know Dean is out. Savase is out. Carlton, if he can play, I'm good because I like Delaney. The dude is about to come in and speak his piece. Go ahead, dude. Say what you got to say. Break. What's up, dude? Look, you came back. What else you got for us?
Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Loud and clear.
All right. Hey, I'm going to butcher this name, but that's because you spelled it off the cock. Camarian, Gillies, Guileys, Jillies, whatever you are. Saints will beat y'all tomorrow. Emoji, 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 emoji. Hey, welcome, my friend, to a show covering a team that's got more rings, more division championships, more conference championships, more Hall of Famers, and overall value is over $250 million more than your team. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the impression on the show and the comment. Tell all your other Saints fans about it. We love them poo dats. Why? Because they think they are better than us, meaning Saints fans think the Saints organization is better. Let me ask you, if you've got a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I know I'm rehashing for you longtime listeners earlier in the show, but I don't give a shit. If you've got a Hall of Fame quarterback for 15 years and get one ring, what does that make you?
Sad.
One ring. If you got a Hall of Famer for 15 years and a Hall of Fame coach for what? 15 years as well, and you get one ring. What does that make you? It's a one-hit wonder. That's what you are, because you had that one hit, and then we wonder where the fuck you been in the postseason. Because every time you get there, you get your head stomped in. Now, let me ask you this. As AJ and Slick pointed out earlier, Cameron, whatever your name is there in the comment section, we'll bring it up for you so she gets some exposure. There you go, sweet cheeks. Here's the fact. It took the Buccaneers from the time they were awarded an expansion franchise with no expansion draft, I might add. Y'all don't even talk about that. There was no expansion draft in 1976. They got to sign free agents and draft one draft just like every other team that year. So that team in 1976 is born. No expansion draft, nothing handed to them. Basically a bunch of UPS drivers and pizza delivery flipping people like that. And what happened? 3 years later, they're in the conference championship looking to beat one of the best teams in that 3 or 4 year stretch, the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Slick or AJ, how long was it before the Saints won a division? Because they were 1966 is when
1991.
Oh, was it 61?
1991 is when they were.
Okay,
1966 is when they started.
What's 91 minus 66?
25.
25?
Right, it took them 34 years to win a playoff game.
It took you 25 years to get there. Took you 30 years to win a playoff game. But you're going to go back and you're going to put your head on that little pillow with that little fleur-de-lis or whatever the hell it is on it, embroidered, and you're going to be all excited because tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and go, well, no matter what, we still got a better regular season record against the Bucs. Dude, hang the banner, put it up in that pathetic mausoleum you call a stadium. The fact of the matter is, again, 10 years less time in the league, we have more of everything than you do. And you know what else we have more of? The ability not to go on every one of your posts on social media and act like a fool. Oh, we got the regular season championship. Bro, there ain't no damn trophy for that.
Nope.
Okay,
No
there ain't. You want to know who else had a regular season championship one year? I remember the Minnesota Vikings went 15-1. Who was that one? That was the Bucs. Hey, but you're gonna say 0-14 in one season, 0-26 before you got your first win. Yeah, against you in your house, the same house you're gonna line up in tomorrow and talk about this is a World Elite Stadium. The only thing that's World Elite about it is that Mercedes logo on the roof. Everything else, what you look like is a poor homeless person walking around with one of them Mercedes logos hanging from a chain on your neck. That's what you look like. Now, as far as the entire landscape of New Orleans and the sports scene, bro, you also, in all your infinite wisdom, New Orleanians, named a professional team, fucking Pelicans. Dude, what does Pelican strike fear in? Nothing. What does a Pelican do? He scoops up water and sips out small fish and spits the rest out. So you're a spitter is what you're saying. And that lines up. That lines up with Saints fans. So, hey, Camarian, I don't know who you are. Don't give a damn. Don't know what you identify as, except for a Saints fan. And that's why we're roasting you. You know why? Because you're going to go to bed tonight and be like, damn, they do got more rings. Damn, they do got more divisions. Damn, they do got more conference championships. Damn, they do got more Hall of Famers. Damn, their stadium is nicer than ours. Damn, their franchise is worth more. So what the hell do you actually have to put your head on that pillow and close your eyes and go to sleep contently about? Regular season? Hey, regular season. If that's what you're all focused on, that might represent why your team sucks in the postseason.
Damn. Well said, dude. You heard it. So, Cameron, I think it's one of those things. Did you get what you want when you got what you want? It's like that didn't go the way you thought. You thought it was. Look, overall, when it comes to winning, when most important, that's all Buck fans care about. When certain teams come at us, the same with the Eagles. Well, we did this to y'all in the regular season. Yeah, but we historically shut your stadium
down. Was
just shut that shit down. We shut it down. And then in playoffs, when it matters, recently we got you. Just 2 years ago. Not only got you, we embarrassed you. Yeah, look, This game, you didn't embarrass us last game. It was just one of those situations where shit didn't go our way. But again, that could be an omen. The last time the Eagles beat the Bucs in a regular season game, the Bucs went on and won some shit. But for you Saints fans, again, slick it up. We've already said it. You're the hot chick that you might have had a chance if you just didn't talk too much. Yeah, like you said, dude, with regular season wins, that's the chick that says, well, I got 30,000 followers on Instagram. I got an OnlyFans, but are you going to be a wife?
Dude,
well, that's not it. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I got all these fans. That's cool, but you are going to get older and you're going to get worn out.
Hey,
but
Saints fans be bragging about how much money they got on their EBT, bro. That's how they are. All right?
Exactly.
They're
exactly.
like, I got $500 in food stamps. I'm loaded. No, you're not. And no, you're not a legitimate historic franchise. And here's why. Do you know the first NFL fan base that put bags on their heads in the stands? That would be you. Do you know the first organization that had coaches suspended and kicked out of the league for a period of time and fines levied for you intentionally trying to hurt players? That was you. Do you know which team has I don't even know what the fuck that is on the side of your helmet? Looks like I don't know, Michael J. Fox was trying to draw a flower. I mean, come on, man. But you're going to keep talking trash because that's what you do. And here's the thing. There's lots of people that talk trash. Hell, there's a guy that I put change in his cup every day that still talks trash. Ain't got no shoes on his feet or a home to live in or a place to eat. But he still talks trash. And I looked at him. I said, you remind me of somebody. Oh, that's right. Poo-dats. Poo-dat. Who do you think going to beat them Saints? Everybody in the playoffs going to beat them Saints. And then what are you going to do? You're going to cry. You're going to cry all off season. You're going to write emails to the commissioner talking about that play call by the referee was not fair because we're the New Orleans Saints and we deserve to be treated respectfully. Dude, y'all cried so much, so fucking much that they had to change a rule that really didn't change anything. They was pacifying you. Do you know who we pacify as adults? Our children. So sit down, you little children, learn a lesson in what success is. Success is in the fact that you showed up Monday through Friday to your 9 to 5 and clocked in at 9 and clocked out at 5 every day. Success is that you went to your Monday through Friday, clocked in from 9 to 5 and kicked everybody's fucking ass while you did it. And that's the problem. You real good before lunch, but after that lunch break, when we get to the serious time of the day, you trying to take a nap. Try 5-hour energy. It helps a lot of people. But here's what I will say. You throw beads to see boobs. Right? We drink rum to pilot pirate ships. We got cannons. We got people from across the pond up here in the corner. What do you got? Regular season championship. Dude, you remind me of that guy who works with Peter Griffin in the office at the brewery. Blah, 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 blah. That's what you sound like. You're just running your mouth because you're insecure about the fact that you've had all this talent and ain't got but one ring. You got people like Cam Jordan walking around like he's some kind of Bad Bunny runway model. Dude, you have to buy that jewelry because you ain't got a ring, Cam. Every year, Cam, you try to take shots at the Bucs. Oh, Donovan McNabb, time to contract, time to eat. And then you come out and got 0 sacks, homeboy. So what's up with that? Oh, and by the way, the king of your city, the guy you hold in the highest regard in that organization, Drew Brees, his last game, his last interception, all had pewter pirates all over it, bro. Hey, when the GOAT came to town in the playoffs, when it really matters, what did Drew Brees do? Brought his kids out to meet him. I didn't see Brady bringing his kids out to meet Drew Brees. So take all that. Now, the other thing we'll say real quick, Hall of Famers, there's an argument that both of these franchises benefited from players they either drafted and went on to have better careers or signed players that were already established who end up being Hall of Famers. But I'm going to ask you this. Tell me a Hall of Famer you drafted, Saints fan. I'll wait. One that you drafted, one that played for you the majority of their career and earned Hall of Fame status. I'll wait. It wasn't Drew Brees. He's the San Diego Supercharger, right? It won't be Jameis Winston. He was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. It won't be Derek Carr. He was an Oakland motherfucking Raider. So here's what you are. You're a team that had a quote-unquote offensive expert guru at head coach. You had one of the best, most consistent, well-beloved, gritty, determined quarterbacks in NFL history in Drew Brees. One ring. We had a Hall of Famer, and in the first year got a ring. Oh. Seems like one organization might be built top to bottom better than the other one. Oh, and by the way, when that coach from the Super Bowl that we just won stepped aside, we went division champion. When Sean Payton stepped aside and left, what the fuck you all do? Not a goddamn thing. You went out and signed Derek Carr. Dude, here's the thing. Derek Carr is a solid guy. I like Derek Carr, the player, right? Derek Carr, if you want to succeed with him, you have to have a dominant offensive line, an Alvin Kamara that can get you 125 a game, and a defense that can stop the other team's run. You don't have any of that. Okay? Here's what you do have. You've got a roster with 3 quarterbacks on it, one who probably ain't going to play tomorrow, the other one that's a first-round, #1 overall pick that didn't quite make it, decided he was going to go 30 for 30 instead of to the championship or the playoffs. And then you've got a tight end in Taysom Hill. Your best bet to beat the Buccaneers tomorrow, and I told AJ this earlier, if the Saints want to beat the Bucs and then you want to pound your chest about a regular season win, Taysom Hill has to have a bigger game than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, if you don't get out of that pocket and create some plays on your own, Saints are going to go down hard. Now, if the opposite of that happens, you're all going to win. But again, Kamarian, sure, you might beat us tomorrow. Hell, you might beat us later in the season and sweep us this year. But you're not going to catch us on what matters. And to tell me that, well, the regular season, all that don't matter. What matters is the regular season. Head-to-head competition, that's all that matters. Dude, you're telling yourself that. And I know why. Because I know as an organization and as a fan, you did not feel justified until you were able to raise that first Lombardi. So on your own accord, on your own feelings, you knew you weren't a legitimate, justifiable franchise until you held up Lombardi. You know, that we did twice as many times as you. Now, real quick, I jumped on here because screw that Saints fan. Second of all, we got a back room. There's a little bit of surprise for you. He's been on a couple of our shows before, but it's been a minute. You all heard of Heavy.com and Heavy on Buccaneers.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you with great pride and great appreciation for him taking time on Saturday night. We got Matthew Davis, NFL writer, Buccaneers writer for Heavy.com. He's going to come on. Now, boys, be a little gentle because he's not used to this aftermath stuff. He came on back when we were all like professional. I'm going to go round up some more Saints fans to watch this stream because the only thing better than having a better organization than the Saints is using their dumbass fans to get a bigger reach and impression on the internet. Let me jump up here, and I'll bring on Matthew Davis for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatness is Matthew Davis. Matthew, we've got AJ in the upper left corner. We got Coach Slick in the upper right, one from the Washington, D.C. area. I think they call that the DMV. Mm-hmm. And Slick up there in the upper right-hand corner, he's a football coach over there in good old United Kingdom. So welcome to the show, Matthew Davis. We appreciate you. And me, I'm out to go mess with St. Fans. I'll be back.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, it's going to be a great game tomorrow. Always a nice rivalry game. Let's see if Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore behave themselves.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be spicy.
It's going to be spicy. So if you had to say, what do you think? I'm glad you brought that up because the Mike Evans and Lattimore thing is literally the Tyson Holyfield bout. Somebody's gonna walk away with a bite on their ear. It's always gonna be a fight or something. Typically, what is your expectations and predictions do you see when it comes between Evans and Lattimore? Is Evans gonna have a solid game, or is Lattimore going to get the best of him?
Oh, I think Evans can have a solid game. He's just having a great year so far. Everything's kind of really clicking for him. I know the Eagles game's kind of rough for everybody, but I like their chances overall going in. I think Evans is going to really give Lattimore a hard time. I don't think it's going to be an easy game for him at all. Baker places the ball really well, and I think Baker has the leadership in the locker room where, I think he might reel Evans in. I think we might be surprised. It might not be quite the drama it's been in the past. So that'll be interesting to see.
I agree, Matthew. I'm with you on that. I think actually the reason why Evans is going to have a good game is because of Baker. He's going to find him in how to hit him. That's one thing I think that Evans has been missing for a while. With Brady, if he sees that it's too covered, he's not going to take that chance. He's a perfectionist, so he's going to go somewhere else. With Baker, I think he wants to get Evans involved because he's aware of his importance. When Evan gets going, that means they have to take their attention to him and everybody else will go. But I agree with you on that. Now, what is your you think the strengths for the Bucs and the weakness of the Bucs will be going into this game?
I think that, the passing game is good overall. I mean, they got some things going in the short yardage game, but they got the deep ball too, especially to Evans. Godwin has been tearing it up too, and Baker's been really able to make plays with those two guys. And I don't think the Saints can keep them covered throughout the entire game that well. The defense, I think, is doing really well, and I think that they did a good job at moments against Philly, and they're still taking away the ball, which is a good sign. I think they're gonna. I think they like to talk nice about Jameis now, don't they? But they're gonna pick him off a few times tomorrow, I think. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. So, but the running game, they haven't addressed that. I'm like, I think Todd Bowles is pretty blunt. We didn't have a run game on Monday, and what did they do? They changed nothing.
Agreed.
Hopefully they get. I think maybe the philosophy is maybe that phrase that we didn't have a run game. It cuts deep and it. Sometimes it galvanizes players going, oh, coach is thinking that of me. I could get replaced. I better show him. So it's like, yeah, I'm giving you this opportunity to fix it. Because we know what you're capable of. I mean, they've seen him week in, week out, practice in, practice out. He's gone up against the ones. They ain't wrapping him up in cotton wool all the time because they know they need to see what he can actually do. If they were honestly unsure of his ability to run the football, I think they would have made a move in the offseason or potentially would have made a move sooner rather than later about signing another running back when they had the option and there was more of a plethora of running backs available. However, they didn't. And I think it's because they've seen what they've seen. They see the potential. It's just I think the best way we can all say in that game that Rachaad White looked like he was thinking way too much to try and bust off a big play rather than just take what the offense was going to give him. And had he just took the contact, drove for a yard, if he can only get a yard, then it's more worthwhile gaining 2 yards on top of what he originally did instead of being tackled for a loss because he danced and tried to find something. But there's only one player that's been statistically good at that, and he no longer plays the game of football, and that was Le'Veon Bell with his patient running style that he used to play. But he's a freak for it. There's no one else has ever been able to do it the way he has.
Exactly, Slick. You just said it. You just do the job and stop trying to think you're above what your position is. Everybody thinks that they are the Le'Veons or the Barry Sanders of the world or an anomaly. You're not an anomaly. Just play the game the way it's supposed to go. Run the damn ball. Run down the hill.
Run the ball.
Get those tough yards. Those tough yards add up a lot more than what a lot of people think because defenses have to respect it and acknowledge it. If they don't, that's when teams who run away. That's what happened to the Bucs. We were not acknowledging their run, and Swift destroyed us because Swift said, oh, okay, well, if you're not going to compliment me here, I'm just going to go this way. And now when Bowles went into panic mode, that's one thing, Matthew, if you had to say,
sorry, guys,
who cannot go into panic mode more, on the offensive side of the Bucs or the defensive side?
Oh, I still think it's the offensive side. I mean, the defense, I mean, they've been coming up all season so far. They're off to a great start. But, I mean, that offense, I mean, go back to the first half of the Vikings game. It took a half to figure it out. They've been really good up to, chunks of the Eagles game. And they still had some promising things. But, and to their credit, I don't know if they, totally, ditched the run on Monday night. I was there far enough down where they kind of had to, but I'm just kind of like, are they going to hit panic mode? I mean, it just seems like that's the area. With that said, I don't know if Canales is a panic guy, so That's the thing. I don't know. I just had a better feeling about this Bucs team, like all the way through. I've been hearing that from fans. Like, this is different than 2022. And I don't know if panic is even a word in that locker room. I like what they're doing and what they're about right now.
Right. Now, I just want to ask you one more question. With the Bucs defense, though, is there something that you feel that they can do to be better? They've been playing good, but what will it take for them to play great?
Ooh, that is a good question. More takeaways would be nice. But I mean, just a little quicker to the ball. Just, tighter coverage. They're just kind of improving those areas. Those little things are going to make the big difference. They're doing a lot of things well right now. I like the pressure they got on Jalen Hurts at times. I mean, it was nice seeing 2 picks. I mean, that was good. I mean, it looks like there could be a little bit more better communication, because I kind of wonder when Devin White ran out of bounds. Like, if he knows he can't take it to the house, why hasn't he tipped somebody ahead of time? Like, hey, if I happen to get a pick, like, I can get the ball to you. Just I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they, can prepare for those things in advance. But I think that's what you have to.
You literally shout one word and it means go block somebody. That's the epitome. That's the epitome. You shout Artski. I think we use bingo. As soon as that call comes out, you turn on the swivel and you go find someone and deck them. There is no like because you call the ball for yourself. So Devin would have, and I'm only guessing because I'm looking at how I install my own defense. He's calling Devin's ball. He picks it. Bingo. Everyone goes and finds somebody to block, and he runs as far as he can take it. It was quite deep in a half, and yeah, he kind of did just run it out of bounds. We don't know that he would have got it. I think we just like to think that he could probably take on 1 or 2 people and maybe at least grab more yards out of it. But at the end of the day, the 2 picks is good. For me, the biggest thing on defense is we need to stop the run, because we stopped the run for 2 weeks straight. Last week, we were letting them run the ball. They had an 8-minute drive because they could just run the ball when they wanted, how they wanted, whenever they wanted. That really has to stop. I am a little bit nervous about our defensive backs being there. They're a bit chopped up at the moment, and we may not have both starters on the field. However, D. Delaney steps up and gets his, so that's always nice to see. And let's face it, the other gentleman, Zion McCullum, had a solid game. He was not bad at all. So it's nice to see that the Buccaneers are not struggling in this department. It's just like you'd rather have, the men that were meant to be in that position right there. But so far, it hasn't looked like a major problem.
Mm-hmm. And Matthew, what is your take on this kind of coverage?
That kind of coverage?
That's right. What is your take?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I mean, I guess regarding the Bucs secondary, I mean, they need to get healthy. That's scary. What's the latest? I have to double check the injury report. Jamel Dean's not playing tomorrow, right? The last I saw on Friday.
Yeah, turf toe, Carlton Davis is a game day decision.
And then, Carlton Davis being banged up. I mean, it's nice that some other names have been stepping up, but I mean, teams are gonna be testing that secondary all season. I'm hoping the Eagles game was an anomaly with the run. I mean, Swift is tearing up everybody. I've seen the Eagles twice this year,
and they're a good offensive line as well. I mean, it's not like they're playing. It's not like a slouch line either. It's a freaking good line.
They just got to keep winning. I mean, this is. The rest of the schedule is very winnable. I mean, this could be a 12-5, 13-4 ball club if they can just keep doing what they're doing.
I second that, Matt. I said that. Slick already knows. I second that. You are right. This Bucs.
I had 10. I had 10. I had 10. Yeah.
I said between 10 to 12. And I say that, Matt, you're right. This Bucs, if the Bucs on offense, and I've said this all season, and Slick can tell you, I said if the Bucs offense can just be average through most of the season, they're going to be fine. This defense is aware that they're going to have to carry this team. I truly think this defense knows that they're going to have to carry this offense to get to that level, to the next level, and where they gel and where they have a complete familiarity and continuity of the offense until like week 10 or 11. We have to not kid ourselves. That's why I told Buc fans, do not expect the Bucs to throw up all these points unless the Bucs defense creates turnovers where they can get the ball at their own 10 or 20. That's why I'm a person where I want the defense to be great and not just good. We've been bending more than breaking. And I tell people this a lot. If you go back and do your history, that's what Gruden wanted from this Bucs defense. The Bucs defense was already good before he got there. But what he did, he challenged them. He said, no, I need y'all to get turnovers, and you're going to have to be great. That's what Bowles has to instill in this defense. Being good is not enough. You were good last season. We need you to be great. But that also means Bowles has got to get out of his own way and get rid of his ego and cut this shit out. Can't have this. This is not what we're good at. This is not what we do. We don't have the secondary to do that. I don't think I want to. Somebody has to find this, man. I need somebody to do statistics on any time when the Bucs get great turnovers or sacks. What coverage are they in? If somebody can find that out for me, I will cash out them $20.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know. The one thing I keep thinking about is who here misses Mike Edwards? I mean, I remember that one game where he had 2 pick sixes. I'm kind of like, it'd be really nice to have him right now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But
with Christian Isn's doing the job right now for the Buccaneers, so we're pretty pleased that we just got a guy off the streets. No doubt, there's arguments that D. Delaney was going to be that guy going into the season, and then Christian Isn just comes along and says, you know what, this is my game, and he has not looked bad in any one of those 3 games that he's played in so far.
Yeah, what is your take on Izzian?
Yeah, I think he's really something else. I think he's done a lot of good things. I mean, that's been a nice find. It's kind of one of those dollar store bargains, as Jason Lick jokes about, with these guys that kind of came out of nowhere, and it's a good thing. One thing I would bring up is, like, I think we need to see more from Joe Tryon and Shoyinka. I mean, this is kind of the make or break year, and he just hasn't delivered yet. I mean, he's okay. He's not, but he's a guy that really needs to take it to the next level this year. We haven't seen that yet.
Agreed. I'm going to cut him some slack and cancel out the Eagles. We said it already. They have an elite line. They have that line. And a lot of times in those games, even if they hold like we saw, it's going to go their way because they're winners. They were NFC champions. But you're right. JTS, this is the year. I'm at this point now where if I don't get at least a sack or close to a sack this game, I'm bringing in Yaya because I want to see what Yaya can do. I honestly think if Yaya comes on the field and gets more experience, he possibly will outplay JTS, and JTS will go to a role where it's now you're going to be the rotation guy. And that might actually benefit him in the long run.
I would say because of that, I see them just kind of like thunder and lightning. One's much quicker and one much more powerful. I see them as just like a constant rotation of like really messing with the offensive lineman's head, that he does not know which look he's going to get because you're just constantly changing up, and you're going to get him caught in a blender eventually, and then someone's going to sack the quarterback. And I think that's what I like about them too. Like we used to talk about the thunder and lightning of running backs. I can see them two being a tandem until one of them decides to go, no, this is my job. I would just put them on 50% rotation and just rotate. Guys, just JTS, run as fast as you fucking want. Go full speed at him. And then the other one, go full power at him, because he's going to have to keep adapting. And eventually one of you is going to hit home.
That's why we have it.
That's what we need. We just need him to ball out and just play like he can, like first round draft pick. It's like
agreed. Well, let me ask you this: on defense, besides JTS, Joe Tryon, who in the trenches do you want to see make things happen? We know Canty is out, but who needs to be that unsung hero where it's like, okay, he wasn't worried about enough, and the Bucs, he made him pay for it?
I mean, Vita Vea is always good. I mean, for him to take it to the next level, that would just be huge alone in and of itself. And I just see more of that because I think too many teams focus on. I mean, they like to double him and things like that because they know he's a threat. I just like to say him take his game to another level. I think we know he's an all-pro caliber player. I think it's kind of the best kept secret, but it's a secret around here, right? It's just like we know this is a great player, but I think league-wide people kind of know he's good. But I mean, I think we know that he's all pro good, and we need to start seeing that.
Agreed. I'm gonna go with Gaines. I think Gaines could be the guy who secretly comes in there and wreaks havoc. It kind of reminds me of the Saints. I remember no one knew who the hell Hendrickson was during the 2020 season like that, and then he popped up so good that he was able to go to another team and make things happen, which was the Bengals. We need to have another guy. Vita is fighting an injury already with a pectoral issue. I need someone else to step up so he can stay fresh and healthy. Because if he goes out, then that puts our trenches in jeopardy of being able to stop the run, getting a pass rush. I need somebody else in the trenches for them to say, "Oh shit, this guy is coming to play." Now we're hoping that for Cansey, but we can't speak on that yet because he has to be healthy. But right now, Gaines is that guy. I see a lot of fight in him. I see a lot of energy. So I'm gonna go with if Gaines can be that guy that can help the trenches, especially in the run or the pass rush. That's when I know the Bucs will be all right, and Vita can actually, he can start to heal because he definitely needs to heal during the bye week. That's why the Bucs need to win. You go up 3-1. Now the team is good to go. The defense can rest and heal. 2 weeks is actually, it seems like this bye week has been could be a blessing in disguise for the Bucs defense.
Absolutely. And to finish off with who I think should be the guy that should pop off, Logan Hall. He's a starter on the offense. You could end up being like, at the moment, Vita Vea being as questionable as he is, you could end up with Gaines, Goulston, and Hall on the line. So out of those, he's probably the most inexperienced. He's probably the one with the probably biggest weaknesses in his. Oh, sorry. I'll say this as I always say this: developmental areas of his game. And I honestly think that that's the guy. But I mean, I echo what everyone else is saying. Like, you look at Vita Vea. Vita Vea comes in. You need him to have a great game. And of course, if he's not in the game, you're going to need his backup, which is definitely going to be Gaines, because that's what Gaines did back where he was. I'll be interested to see if the Buccaneers decide to do maybe go down a 4-down lineman route and have Gaines and Vita Vea, and then two defensive ends, rather than going with the linebackers. But we know what Coach Bowles likes to do. He's creative. 1 minute you got 4-down linemen, next minute you got 3-down linemen, next minute you got this, you got that. He likes to play.
Yeah, so I agree, Slick. Everything you're just saying, we just have to win up in the trenches. But the good thing is, if you had on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence level in Jameis Winston, since he will more likely be the quarterback we play?
I'm sorry, am I going first or is Slick going first?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. You go ahead. 1 to 10. What is your comfortability with Winston being quarterback?
I think it's just so. I think you could have good games with him, but I think you can have the good old-fashioned Bucs games that we knew and loathed, where he's throwing 3 interceptions. I don't think he's changed that much. I think he is a little better than he used to be, but he doesn't play all the time. He doesn't have the reps. And the last time we saw him, I mean, I think that was actually under Peyton. I don't even think that was under the Dennis Allen. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to see a great Jameis Winston tomorrow. I think we're going to see some typical things. And I think the Bucs know how to ruffle his feathers and how to push his buttons. So it'll be interesting to see. That's what I anticipate tomorrow.
Well, no, that's good you say that, because he did play under Dennis and he threw 3 picks last. I
do remember that. That was.
Yeah, we embarrassed him. I'm at a 5. The reason why I say that, he can be mobile, but if he starts to connect on his deep passes and his decision making is average, then the Bucs can be in trouble, because with the secondary, we don't know what to expect. We're confident, but he is still a competent quarterback. But as you said, I look at it like this: if we can keep him rattled, that is the Jameis I want. I want to rattle Jameis where he has a hero complex. I got to be the hero. I got to get him out of trouble. Because that's when he actually becomes the villain of his team. When he does that shit and he'll throw a pick or he holds on the ball too long and gets stripped in for a fumble. We want Jameis the hero. So because when he's the hero, he'll play like a zero.
I like that. That's a good analogy there. We know, like, through being Buccaneers fans, that occasionally he do a game where he just explodes and he has like 4 touchdowns and he'll still get some picks. There's very rare that the games that he has low picks in, he's been game managed and he's been handcuffed, and you can tell. And they rely heavily on their run game. So the Buccaneers' main goal needs to be stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. Now you're going to force him to play that hero ball, especially when the easy stuff isn't available. You're going to make him have to throw deep. You're going to make him throw those 50-50 balls. You're going to make him think things are there that aren't actually there. And he's going to be throwing to ghosts, and those ghosts will manifest as fucking phantoms, and they'll take those balls back to the fucking finish line. And that's how I see this. You've got to force Jameis Winston to play like Jameis Winston. I've got a lot of love for the guy because he sent my daughter a jersey a long, long, long time ago, and she loved him to pieces. However, he's on another team, so that means nothing to me. And
he's
look,
the enemy.
he's the enemy. And why the Saints? But it was to go through us. That's all it was. It was to go through us. And he's had his, and we've had ours. And I think we've come out better. I think Matthew, you alluded to a really good point. Is like the Buccaneers know how to rattle his feathers. You saw the way like people like Devin White reacted to him, how what they wanted to do to him. They know what pisses this guy off because they've been around him for so damn long. They know what gets under his skin. So I think if they try to handcuff him to a run game and not make him, we just want you to kind of keep it between the sticks. Okay. You're going to suck because he plays better and he also plays worse when he's a little bit more free. He has to, if you handcuff him, he will play abysmal unless your talent is so high that they can keep that turnover of down, turnover down, turnover of down. Otherwise, he's turning the football to somebody else because that's his MO. It's what he's bred for. But unfortunately, on the flip side of it, so is our quarterback. Our quarterback's known as the white Jameis Winston in places. So this could be the case. Now, I've not seen any indication that he's playing that. He's thrown the ball away. He's being smart with the football. I'm liking everything I've seen from Baker. Even the pick that he thrown, I was like, that was just a really good play by the defense. He tried to trick the safety by looking off the other way and then coming back to his guy, and it didn't work. Look, just a great play by the safety. You can't argue it. That's the way I look at it. But I honestly believe if we can pound the rock and win this is about the trenches, this game. Win the trenches, win the game. That's where it's at.
Yes. You are absolutely right on all the accounts. Like we said, we know Winston. We know what's going to get him going. That's why I just think that this Bucs team will get back on track. And like you said, Baker, that interception was that was great defense from that guy. That was great defense. We also got to remember they played in the weather conditions really factored because it was a lot of slippery. It was raining the ball. I think Baker is what people thought Jameis Winston would be. Matured, learning from his mistakes. Winston has yet to learn from his mistakes. And I want to ask you this, Matt, because this is the big news that everybody's talking about, but I don't think it's going to be a big factor. Are you nervous that Kamara will be returning? Alvin Kamara, the running back.
I think our gentleman Matt has got a few family problems, as we all do, because my child has appeared on the show many a time. So I think me and you discuss it. AJ, it is a problem, but how fresh he is with the team. He was suspended, right? Which means he hasn't had any organized team activity for 3 weeks. I don't know how caught up to the playbook he is, how much they can use him, how many design plays they got for him, because there's only so much they can do with him, right? Now, we also know that you can pick a guy off the street and the next week they're having a decent game because running back's one of those positions, right? It's just one of those positions. Take the ball and go down the A-gap. you can simplify running back to a point where you could probably do a job. If this run defense is as suffocating as it has been in the past versus this team, it can be very, very good. And it can shut him down completely. However, if we see what we saw last week creep into this week, and he starts to get rolling, I think it could be a bad day.
I agree 100%, and I don't think the Bucs. I think the Bucs will lose more than 14 points because one, this is a rivalry game, so they're going to try to pour the score on to put us away. But I don't see it yet with Kamara. One is his conditioning. I don't think you know this. Everybody knows football condition is different than regular condition. You got to get yourself fully acclimated, and I don't think if this was an Alvin Kamara 2 games in, then I'd be like, you're fine. I'd be like, shit, he's getting back in form. But this is Alvin coming.
He's gonna get weaker as the game goes on. So if you hit him early and deter him early, you could win later, big time.
Right, exactly, and that's why I do think if the Bucs stop, you said it, stop the run, the game's over after that because Winston is going to throw. He's bound to throw a pick. That's just who he is. And Kamara, if anything, I kind of feel like Kamara might be a handicap in the beginning because he's gonna have to slowly. If they try to throw him,
hey, dude, I'll tell you what. If they already know if he's ready to go, right? Because coaches aren't stupid. I mean, if they're good coaching staff, they know who can run the ball, who's running the ball well in practice, and all those kind of things. So they'll know whether he's worth putting in early. Now, maybe they are just like, let's put him in early and see what happens. But if he gets knocked a few times and it's minimal gains or behind the line of scrimmage, that could. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a bad. He's a very good player, so it's not like it would destroy his confidence, but it would make it difficult to get into the game because he's already like shit. That shit weighs on you. And we know Devin will have a few choice words every time he puts his dick in the dirt, right? Because you know what Devin's like.
Yes, he's a shit talker.
Devin loved to show up for the Saints because it's where he's from, right? It's his hometown. So he knows that entire stadium's going to, I say entire stadium, but that stadium's going to have a lot of Devin White fans in it because they're from that area, right? So they're coming to see him play. He's going to want to put on a show for them at bare minimum. And of course, we know that Devin White is in this. What's the best way of putting this? He's in this show pony phase of wanting to show that he's got it and he's worth the money.
Yes.
And what better way to do it against your divisional? Remember that game? Hey guys, remember that game when I got 12 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks and a forced fumble, which I took to the house? Yeah, I remember that game too.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It's in there, and it's one of those that Bucs fans give a shit about because you do that against the Bears, we're smiling. You do that against the Saints, you are literal God for the week.
Agreed, and that's what I agree with you 100%. You have to get into their heads. Devin knocks him back a few times. He might say, "Yeah, man, your punk ass should have been suspended one more game." And
you should have missed this one, boy. You should have missed this one because I'm coming. You should have skipped this one.
Yep. And
I'm gonna beat on you like you beat on that boy.
Exactly.
I'm gonna beat you so hard you wish you were that boy.
I can see Devin saying, "You done lost a couple steps, homeboy," and then Kamara's out of it. So that's why I do think this game is gonna be whoever mentally gets frustrated first, they're gonna lose. And
I think the Buccaneers have got better resolve in that department. They didn't look panicked versus the Eagles.
Nope.
Whereas I think they should have been because there was a point where it's like we need to see something because we've not seen anything. But they weren't panicked, and that's it's a good thing. But sometimes a little panic makes you a little bit more eager, a little bit more thirsty, a little bit more hungry for it. Yeah. But I've got to go and do it. But then you end up with hero ball, and sometimes hero ball you got that guy going, "No, I need to get every single yard. I need to get coach." Ball goes up in the air.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. I feel like it got to a point where the Bucs didn't give up in the Eagles game, but they took this as a learning.
I think the coaches gave up.
Yeah, the coaches gave up, but not
coaches were done. The coaches did. You don't call no timeouts in that 8 minute.
Yeah,
you were. Yep.
Yeah, the coaches were just they were.
Let's just get out of here.
let's get out of here kind of thing. Not the players, but if you look at it, I've told people, Jalen Hurts didn't shred it. That's why I give Ryan Clark his props. Ryan Clark is one of the only few people who were saying, nah, guys, the Eagles won, but that's because they had to do everything else in the right way. If Hurts throws another interception, that game
We're talking about a different game.
That game could be different. If the Bucs don't get a safety, that game is different. Even if they only go away with 3 points, the game is completely different. But
and you look at it, those key interceptions were ones that could, if they would have gone to the hands where they were supposed to go, we would have been looking at blowout city, dude.
Oh yeah, no, the Bucs would have lost at least
30 something.
Yeah, 37 to 8 or some shit. It would have got ugly. But again, Hurst did not play good football. He played good enough to win, but he also, again, the real MVP on the offense we know was Swift. It wasn't AJ Brown. It wasn't Devontae. I told people.
I mean, it didn't need to be though because we couldn't stop it. So, but then you think they would go. You think they would strive for balance,
right?
Because they can't stop our run game. So let's see what we can do on our pass game. And the answer was they couldn't do nothing because. Surprise, surprise, D. Delaney and Zion McCullum were actually doing decent jobs. It was only when they went out that we had this lad Pitts Jr. go in, did that cushion coverage. And we all know that if there was no cushion in that, I'm going to say this, if there's no cushion in that, there might have been in competition for that ball. And I'm not saying he would have walked away with it. I'm just saying it might have been batted or he would have been tackled at the line. Because it was a quick pitch and catch, wasn't it? It was like a straight away.
Yeah. Look, anytime you say the word cushion, when I bring it up, I'm gonna do this. So yes, that's what we're saying, Buck fans. We're saying that if you go back and look at that Eagles game, they really only won due to the fact of the Bucs blunder and the Bucs not capitalizing. This game, I already think that Canales is going to be far ahead. He's going to go, no, we're going to let it fly because one, this is a divisional opponent that we want to take care of. I think in the early game there'll be caution, but there'll be caution for a reason. They're going to be like what you say, how Bowles plays chess. Like, let me see. Canales might go, let me see what they do if I do this type of play. Oh, they're gonna draw the line in.
Setting it all up.
They're going to do this. Now, Palmer, your speed is going to be utilized. If they do that, and I think they will, I honestly think this game the Bucs are going to play average football on offense because I do think this. Mark my words. I think Baker is going to use his legs more. He's going to keep drives alive where he doesn't want to be rattled. Oh, if I don't have to launch it deep, I'm going to run.
What I like with Baker is that you have a three-way, a triple, almost like a triple option. So you have a run play, which will be like your the gentleman next to him, and then you have your orbit. You've got your slot guy coming across. So you've got two options there, and then the other one is he just follows the ass, keeps it himself, of either the guy next to him, his running back, or his slot guy who's coming across. And he can make that based off a read or what have you. That's what I quite like. Something, a little wrinkle like that, where it's the same play, but the defense has to be accountable for all of it.
Yes. And if they play man, which I think they will, that's going to leave Baker 6-7 yards to go. I think there's going to be a play where Baker runs and gets at least 12 to 13 yards. And now the Saints are going to be like, shit, we might have to go into a zone, which we don't want to, because if we do, Baker can rip us apart that way. Or that might get the running game back. Now they go, oh, damn, we can't even load the box like we really want to because now Rachaad White done broke off a 28-yard run. Damn it. What we want is for the Saints defense to go, what the hell, we don't know. And that's why I do think if they come in there with the mindset and play like they played against Brady, they're going to get embarrassed. Now, I say that because we all know what they wanted to do with Brady. Collapse the pocket, come to the outside, and make him If they do that, Baker is going to kill them with his legs, and I think Canales will throw a little bit of sneaky calls in there where it's like, oh shit, this person's open. Because outside of Marshawn Lattimore, I challenge people: do you even know who their other corner is?
I did when I saw a stat, but not anymore. It's stuck out of my head now.
Exactly. Honey Badger is getting old. The Honey Badger is literally just he's just a badger now. He's not a honey badger. He's just a badger.
He's the grumpy badger.
He's the grumpy, exactly, the grumpy badger. So, before I get off here, let's go into that. Final predictions. I've talked about it before, but what is your final predictions and who is going to be the Buck star, the Buck stud on offense, and the Buck stud on defense?
I'm going 27-20.
Okay.
27-20. I think they will run the ball relatively well in the red zone, and I think they'll get some. The thing is, I look at it two ways. It's either going to be super close or we win in a landslide. I don't see them thumping us. I just don't. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. I think it'll be either super tight and it's between field goal. It's going to be a score in between them, or I look at it and go, we ran away with it because Jameson Winston was unable to score anything. Like it'll be field goals and stuff like that. I could quite easily see my first prediction is 20-27. But I also believe that you could also see 27-6. I honestly believe that could happen as well, or maybe 27-9 or something of that nature, because it all comes down to Jameis Winston. Like, if we stop the run, it's all Jameis Winston, and if Jameis Winston plays like we know Jameis Winston plays, and this Buccaneers offensive front can play the way it's supposed to play. We were just talking about one of the guys they got out is their guard. Now we can get that pressure down the middle. They can't run the ball down the gut anymore. They have to go to the sides. Running the football to the sides is what we want them to do. It's what we want them to do.
Damn.
So Cesar Ramirez or whatever his name is. I know Ryan Ramczyk isn't exactly in the best nick, so I would say I'd want to put someone really nasty, really aggressive, and then whatever his sore spot is, attack it.
I'm with you.
Not to kick the shit out, not to like hurt the guy, but to just get him like he is struggling through the game.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. Hold on, we're gonna bring, since Matthew's back, let's ask him, Matthew, because we're welcome back. We're gonna wrap it up, but we want to get this. We want to get your final view on the game and your prediction score, and who are your Buck studs on offense and defense.
Oh, so I think the Bucs are going to go in there and get a win tomorrow. I know the Saints, they've showed some good stuff the first few weeks, but I think the Bucs have even better things going, and they're going to be the more physical team. They're going to make the plays. They're going to win the game. I'm going to call it 24-17, and I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a big game. Mike Evans is going to be the two big offensive stars. And I think on defense, honestly, I think David White's going to have another big one, and Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean, he's had some history there at the Superdomes or the Little Caesars Dome. And anyway, it's going to be some good stuff tomorrow.
My man, that's good. I'm going to go out here and jump out there with hot takes. I got the Bucs, first of all, winning 31-10. This is why I say that. Winston is going to give us too much. He's going to give us at least not one, but two.
You think one of those is going to go to the house?
Yeah, not to the house. No, yes, one will go to the house. And the biggest thing is he's going to give us turnovers where the Bucs offense will be in short field where they don't have to be. This is a game where I see the Bucs offense just being average. This is a game where I see the Bucs saying we don't have to do much. Let's get Evans involved. And if Evans is taken away, I don't see Evans getting a 100-yard game, but I do see him getting 1 to 2 touchdowns and short passes in the goal line or in the red zone. Now,
I'd like to see one just right over the top of Marshawn Lattimer's head.
Right.
That would be
Yes.
You know?
And my,
That,
my
that's
stud
what I want to. That's what I'm going to screenshot and send to my head coach.
yes, my Buck stud is actually going to be Baker. And I say this,
I like
I
that.
feel like Baker might have the game sort of that Ryan Fitzpatrick had, not necessarily statistically, but he's gonna, if they get close to the end zone, red zone, he might have a quarterback option route where he can run it in like Fitzpatrick did, because he has the mobility and size and strength and heart to do that. On
These were
defense,
some fun times. Remember that game, guys? That was
yeah, that was spectacular.
that was shockingly crazy.
Whoever betted on the Bucs that game made money, because the Saints were heavily favored. And
for sure.
yes, and I think Winfield is going to have a good game. I really do. I think Winfield might get the pick six, and I say that because we know Bowles likes to bring him down in that box, and I think there's going to be a play where Bowles knows Winston. He's going to say, "I want you to give him the Rondé Barber effect. Pretend like you're gonna blitz, and then back out so Winston can throw that shit, and then Winfield catches it and takes it." So I do expect Winston to throw a pick six, but I expect the Saints offense, because they're sputtering too. They're gonna put the Bucs in positions to where the Bucs offense doesn't have to march up and down the field. I expect the Bucs to march up and down the field maybe a few times to take clock, run the clock, but that's my take. 31 Bucs, Saints 10. And I'm gonna finish it up, guys. Again, check us out. 102, the aftermath on 102.9, the game Broad Street South Radio. This is where you can get that Buck talk. And again, Matthew Davis, thank you. And for other Buck fans out there, you guys can always come in and chime in and get that Buck talk. Again, this is against the punk ass Saints. And with that being said, guys, you can always catch me on my channel. It's about Bucking Time. And also go to my page on Instagram, AJ Turn Up. Check out the link, and you can see my nice little merchandise that I always will have for you guys. This is Sticks of Fire, aka that's Native American for Tampa. But as always, Buck fans, let's get this win and go Bucs. You fellas take care.
Go Bucs.
There he is. So, guys, that's the end of the show. I will see you all at the post-game show tomorrow. Hopefully, enjoying a Bucs victory. Victory Shade should be on the show. Hopefully, this is what we want. And I will see you all guys then. So until then, have a good night. Enjoy yourselves. Watch your college football. Enjoy yourself a beverage or two. And I will see you. Bucs on me. Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs!